a company which was able to adapt it very efficiently compared to its other two players. So after COVID, we have seen a lot of startups getting,
Into
emerged.
this, the company posted a decent revenue growth considering how competitive the luggage market is, and that
And
is
that is
also
expected also because
huh,
company right now is focusing on gaining market share. It has to come at the cost of profitability, high
profitability.
advertising spend, or maybe giving discount. And also that was a festive season. Hi guys, so we're back with a new podcast, and in this week we're gonna discuss a very different kind of company. I don't think we've covered any luggage company before on the
Yeah, I think this is the first
yeah, there aren't
one
many anyway listed. So I think Safari and VIP are the two company as listed company
as
in
of
the
now.
as of now. In terms of at least in the near future, also it seems like that because other companies are they are interested in more like a venture capital at this point of time.
And Shark Tank
Shark Tank
also,
also, yeah,
Nasher Miles
yes, Nasher Miles and that other one, Assembly, I think.
Assembly, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Assembly.
So I think on the same topic we're going to talk today that how the luggage market earlier it was only two players VIP and Samsonite. If you remember the foreign company Samsonite.
And what about American Tourister?
I think that is one of the brand of the Samsonite or anything like that. I'm not sure.
Because इन दोनों में से भी ज्यादा नाम लोग ऐसा अमेरिकन टूरिस्टर का ज्यादा लेते हैं इवन इफ
Yeah,
इट्स जस्ट अ ब्रांड.
but I think market share wise back in 2016 17 80% 90% of the market share was captured by these two players only,
These two players.
VIP and Samsonite, and small segment was captured by Safari back then. And I think it was more or less like that only until the COVID, right? So after COVID, we have seen a lot of startups getting
Into
emerged.
this
Yeah,
space.
yeah. So I think that whole online trend started due to the people being home and all. So lots of things started coming online only. So that was not earlier. And earlier also it was luggage was luggage.
But I
Okay.
was just getting to that point that as you mentioned, one
Yeah.
was the online factor and the second was कि भाई पहले तो लोगों को क्या हाँ भाई लगेज है सामान डाल दिया
यहाँ से
तो
उधर
भाई
जाना है
वही
तो पेटी भी पहले यूज करते थे पुराने
विमल
टाइम.
का वो थैला.
विमल का थैला भी बहुत यूज करते हैं. So all those things means luggage was just
A necessity.
yeah, a necessity, yeah, but only it was just like a use case basis. It wasn't, but this how can I call it? It's fashionization of luggage industry.
हाँ कह सकते हैं मतलब
Yeah,
to have such fancy suitcases or
it
some
become a part of your lifestyle.
quirky designs or
Yeah,
something like that
ऑफिस के लिए
Hmm.
डिफरेंट, ट्रैक के लिए डिफरेंट, फैमिली ट्रिप के लिए डिफरेंट, बिजनेस ट्रिप के लिए डिफरेंट. So that whole concept started when this new age startup came into the existence. So as we name a few, Nature Miles, Assembly,
Mokobara.
Mokobara is
Mokobara is
yeah,
actually getting a lot of
yes.
traction right
There's
now.
also a small one called Uppercase.
Yes.
So these are the four
I don't
players.
know about Upper
Yeah, yeah. So these are the four small players. Although interesting fact, these are all four player, new age player, contribute around 6% of the market share only as of now. So even though the noise and all, because the size is very huge of the incumbents, basically the VIP, Safari, and Samsonite, that for that matter. So I think the industry that we talked about, how the thought process about the industry itself changed. People started to pursue luggage as a more of a lifestyle choice than just a necessity. And the trendy look also gave a something, kind of a redefined view to the industry. But I think in that particular change when the industry was going through, some players were able to adapt it way better than the others. And Safari, which we're going to talk about today, is of course a company which was able to adapt it very efficiently compared to its other two players, which is I think reflected in the fact that, as I just said, back in 2017, 10-12% of the market share was of Safari. Same market share after these new age companies, मतलब उन लोगों ने भी थोड़ा market share तो खाया ही
खाया ही
industry.
है.
Plus the other players also existing in the industry. Safari has doubled its market share from 12 to 25%, almost more than double.
That's obviously,
Yeah.
actually very impressive considering the fact that, it being considered as a traditional player,
Hmm.
withstanding competition from such new age startups like Nature Miles, Mokobara, which have great designs by the way.
Exactly.
yeah, and even competing with them, and उनका price point भी I think
Yeah, so yeah,
नीचे
that is
है.
also
हम्म.
another very good point that you raised. Price point, these companies, Safari and VIP predominantly, they operate in a sub to 3000 segment, predominantly.
Basically a bit
Mass.
premium, but at
No,
a
no,
mass level,
no premium at all. Just a mass
mass
segment.
market.
Yeah, mass
अच्छा,
market only. Premium, just upper premium, what you just mentioned. These all new age player fits in that. So from 5 6,000 to all the way up to 15,000. That's the price gap these particular new age companies are targeting. So, but again, it's not like these incumbents don't want present in that as well. So, what Safari did very good is they also increased their online presence, which was not the norm in the industry before, because it was predominantly distributor-led market. So, जितने ज़्यादा आपके reach होगी in the areas and जितने ज़्यादा number of distributor हो गए, and the more you incentivize them to push your product, the earlier industry used to work like that. But post the onlineification of the industry, so they also increase their online presence. Now I think 33% of the revenue comes from online only.
and what about VIP's competitor?
VIP was the one which suffered the most of this whole transition because उनके खुद के भी कुछ issue थे. The promoter change happened and all those so many company specific issues were also there, and the industry change, so they weren't able to adapt. They are standing around 20-25%. But yeah, so I think Safari was able to do that way better, and that premium segment that we talked about, that also Safari ने बहुत अच्छे से capture किया by launching a new brand called Urban Jungle. So that is somewhat premium brand, but interestingly, there is nothing premium to it. Means it's a luggage at the end of the day. So what makes this product premium is the look and design.
And actually, the name is also very
Yeah,
catchy. I mean, for youngsters
Gen
like
Zs.
us, yeah, at least they'll, even if they don't
Yeah,
buy the product, but they'll at least go to
hmm.
their website, just check it out just because of the name. कि अरे भाई ये urban
Yeah,
jungle भी
and
है
they
क्या?
also position urbanjungle.com, not
Hmm.
Safari पे जाके.
That is, I think वो distinction
Yeah,
लाना ही पड़ेगा
yeah,
उनको
and I
भी.
think the presence of Safari was in both market, online and offline, the omni-channel market that we talk about. Both helped him because they were able to promote that brand offline also. So if you go around in the stores and like that, that multi-brand outlets, usually you find this luggages industry in the MBOs are higher than EBOs. So in that also they have positioned well, branding wise also they are promoting this urban jungle and all. So I think currently it contributes around 5 6% of the total revenue, but I think they aim to double it over the next 2 to 3 years. So 10% of the company's revenue, the company expect that will come from the premium brand, 100 to 200 crore in absolute number.
अच्छा,
Yeah.
okay.
So that is also the company has been able to achieve very good. And I think the number part also, I think tallies. So if you can just highlight that how the numbers of the company in terms of the revenue and all those things.
So I think recently Safari came out with its results as well for the third quarter of FY25, and उसमें भी the company posted a decent revenue growth considering how competitive the luggage market is. I
Yeah.
think 14% year-on-year growth था, and the major driver for this particular revenue growth was the volume growth. Volume क्योंकि उनका volumes expanded by 22%,
Okay, so volume was 22,
and
revenue
revenue
was
growth was
14. So
14.
that
So basically pricing pressure आया है, and that
and
is
that is
also
expected also because
हाँ,
company right now is focusing on gaining market share. So it has to come at the cost of profitability, high
profitability.
advertising spend, or maybe given discount. And also that was a festive season, basically. So naturally the
वो
discounts are
discounts
heavy.
discounts भी दिए रहेंगे. So that was there, and because of that, despite of a 22% volume growth, there was just a 14% revenue growth year on year.
But
But
any
then I think
industry
industry.
number, if you have any, so that we can reference it saying that company grew at X.
Oh, अच्छा, that way, yeah,
Yeah.
for that also have the data. So yeah, company जैसे मैंने बोला कि volume expansion company का
Hmm.
22% था, but industry overall I think on an average basis 15% था growth,
Okay. So that
volume
is
growth,
also
yeah.
tells you कि अभी भी market share बढ़ना चालू है Safari का.
Safari, is successful in
Yeah.
capturing market share from
Growing
its
higher than industry
competitors.
average means, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that is there. Then I think, one interesting development during this particular quarter or this year is that, उनका जो जयपुर का जो न्यू प्लांट एक नया प्लांट है उनका जयपुर में.
Okay.
So that has, just started ramping up. तो basically वो operational expenses थोड़े initial phase में ज़्यादा ही होता है.
Okay, so company did a capex earlier.
Capex earlier,
Capex is
yeah.
done now. Now operationalization is just
चालू
started.
हुआ है
Okay.
and they expect that company reaches 10% of capacity utilization by 4Q of FY25. मतलब ये साल
Just
के end तक सिर्फ 10% करेगा कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन.
okay.
तो अभी भी आई थिंक इन द इनिशियल स्टेजेस वी सी स्टिल वो फिक्स कॉस्ट का इम्पैक्ट रहेगा कंपनी के प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पे.
But yeah, as the utilization
या
increases, that operating leverage will also start to kick in.
and what is interesting is that this single plant alone has the potential to generate around 1000 crores of revenue. And
Great.
to just give some context, this 1000 crores is right now around 65% of Safari's FY24 revenue.
Wow. Two-thirds of the revenue from
Two-thirds of
one
the
plant
revenue
only.
from one plant only. Additional.
So it's a
Yeah.
very big capex that the company has done. So that will also, of course, help. And I think, as I said, the premiumization is also going hand in hand. So that is also. But one interesting thing about Safari is also the contribution of hard luggage, which has a higher margin compared to your soft luggage, because soft luggage में it's वो भी बहुत होता
वो
है soft.
मटेरियल और वो कपड़ा आई
Yeah,
थिंक थोड़ा.
and also if you see soft luggage में फर्स्ट कॉपी वाला मार्केट भी बहुत है इंडिया में. तो अगर आप अपने लोकल मार्केट में जाते हो, एक स्टॉल या ऐसा कुछ होगा जो मतलब होता ही रहता है, सफारी
समझने
के
में
ही
क्या
बैग्स
होगा.
200 में बेच रहा है, ऑफ कोर्स द फर्स्ट कॉपी एंड ऑल. बट इन हार्ड लगेज दैट इज नॉट द केस, बिकॉज पीपल रिलाई ऑन दोस लगेज, so they don't go and buy this luggage from a ठेला or maybe street
बट
vendor.
देन एक्चुअली ये पता है, ये हार्ड लगेज का पॉइंट जो तूने बोला ना, यू जस्ट सेड ना कि सफारी हार्ड लगेज में भी ज्यादा
Yeah,
प्रेजेंट
so
है
there
यार.
is 75% of
हाँ,
portfolio is hard luggage revenue.
दैट इज एक्चुअली गुड बिकॉज अभी अगर इफ यू सी कंज्यूमर्स नाउ डे, तो इवन ऐसे जस्ट नॉर्मल अगर कोई आया भी हो, मोस्टली लोगों के पास अब हार्ड लगेज ही है. लोगों ने वो सॉफ्ट लगेज
मिनी
बहुत
केस
कम,
आ गए
हाँ
अब तो.
बस सॉफ्ट लगेजेस तो बहुत कम
Yeah.
यूज करना चालू कर दिए. तो सफारी ने वो ट्रेंड भी अच्छा कैप्चर कर लिया है.
So I think three-fourths of the revenue coming from that particular product line is also something different than the companies doing in the industry player, and I think that is also reflected in the company's market share gain. But I think, as you mentioned, the profitability hit that the company has taken in the recent quarter, that has also that's like a trend since last 3 to 4 quarters. So I think FY23 the company had around 16% of EBITDA margins. That has now came down to 11%. So
But then
significant
हाँ,
dip
that
in
is
that
only
also.
because of that market share thing ना, कि वो लोग they are trying to be very aggressive
Yeah.
to
So
capture the
there,
market
so in
share.
all these quarters, the margin drop, the company's volume growth was always higher than the industry average. So that of course explains the market share gain. But that also, as I said, came at the cost of profitability.
Profitability.
But I think, as you said, the new factory and the company's currently higher spending on advertisement and all. So these are all the necessary costs that the company has to do
But
to get
that is
the
also in the
branding and
initial
all.
phases,
And
yeah.
also the urban jungle that we talked.
Yeah.
It is also running its own campaign. And I think company views this investment are necessary cost, because they, for them right now the market share gain is essential, because the industry, if you look at it, it's 10 or 1000 crore of industry. So it's not that the industry is also, of course, that with the aspirational India going forward, all those trends are there. But I think whatever the current market pie is at the moment, company has to take these steps in order to gain the market share in that particular. So I think, but yeah, over the long term also company project that they will able to get 15 to 18% volume growth. Volume growth. Of course, pricing a total different matter, depend on the how the company's market share is, how the industry environment is, because these guys, new guys are getting funded now left
Heavily
and
from
right.
the venture
Yeah,
capitalists.
they are ready to take the loss in short term, and so if the company does not do that, then I think something similar to what VIP is seeing. VIP's market share, by the way, fell from 50% 2017 to I think 34 now.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
crazy
that's
drop.
a very big drop.
Yeah.
So and Samsung had also 40 to 35, not that great, but
But then Samsonite ठीक है,
yeah,
वो अपने अलग ही
that is yeah,
फील्ड में, तो उसको तो
yeah.
कंसिडर कर ही नहीं
But I
सकते.
think with the margin drop, what's the any price effect if happens, because I think earnings are going down and what the share price is currently, so valuation
Actually, I
and
was just going to ask you this. केवल लगेज तो ठीक है, चल सस्ता बेच,
yeah,
स्टॉक सस्ता है कि नहीं है.
so yeah, I think the stock also became organically, if अगर share price अगर वैसा ही है and your earnings are going down.
Yeah, but just a second, just a question. So suppose अभी Safari के results आए थे, was there a knee-jerk reaction on the day of the result?
Yeah, so I think since the result day
Hmm.
and right now, even as of today, the stock has significantly fallen. I think 10-15% has fallen because I think the investors are now thinking that the industry might take a bit more time to recover. So earlier, what they thought is it's a 1 year game, maybe 3 or 4 quarter of margin suppression is there. Post that, I think players will start to increase the, because of course long term में इतना sustainable तो है नहीं. But I think investors might be thinking that this can go for a longer time and hence the profit booking that the share price has seen. So I think it's the share price was trading at around 52 to 53 times 1 year forward earnings, and after this fall it has almost came down to 45 times.
Okay,
Yeah, but
okay.
I think that is again lower than the company's historical average. But again, that was another segment of business growth that the company was seeing. And I think recent month, before this fall also, there was a slight outperformance by the company. So that also exacerbated the company's valuation a bit. But I think considering that the industry has itself a very long-term growth drivers,
As we
and
discussed
also
here,
by the
like
way,
there's a
the
lot of growth.
peers valuation, there is no valuation because VIP
Loss,
losses बना रहा है. So as of today, there's only one proper luggage company to invest in if you want to in the public market. So that scarcity premium भी आ जाता है. जैसे in the beverage industry we see Varun Beverage, only company as of now. Of course, there might be in future there might be also chance, but I think as of now, in the near future, I don't think so. There's not any company is going to get listed because these newer players are very small at the moment.
And they'll take a lot of
Yeah,
time to reach that scale to at least get themselves listed on the
six
markets.
percent of 10,000 crore market share. That's
Nothing, that is
60 crore, right?
60 crore, yeah.
Right, na?
हाँ 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 हाँ.
600 crore.
600.
Sorry.
Excellent.
So that is
हाँ.
also it's not that great as of right now. So I think yeah. So valuation wise, you have uh, your own pros and cons. So I think one can look at both before judging this company in a right manner.
Right, man. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think basically all in all, a good story unfolding. If it unfolds as people are
As
expecting,
long
we'll
as
have
the
a
company's volume growth will be higher than the industry growth,
industry.
because one part is taken care of that the market share gain will be there. So if you're giving a margin compression at the cost of market share gain, as an investor, I might be thinking that okay, ठीक है, अभी तो जा रहा है, but market share gain करके they will able to recoup that
But मेरा
loss.
point वही
But
है, I
as
think
soon as that
हाँ
falls, then I think
वो
a
प्रॉब्लम अगेन हो
different
सकता
level
है.
of valuation framework might work in the company's favor.
But then मेरा प्रॉब्लम वही है. This story is only good if the company is able to gain market share जब तक कर रहा है. But at the same time वो जो उनके margins कम हो रहे they should I think after a point get stabilized.
Good point.
वहां पे होगा ना.
Last quarter, the company had around 10.9%
हम्म.
EBITDA margin. This quarter, it has increased to
So
11.2%.
basically quarter on quarter they
Yeah,
have seen
yeah,
margin
improvement. But
expansion.
again,
हाँ.
it's too early to
Too
judge
early to
because
judge.
it might be a fashion that seasonality also because festive
Seasonality.
season
हाँ.
में earnings भी
खरीदते हैं
हाँ
लोग. हाँ.
exactly. So that might be also a reason in this particular quarter. If this trend is sustainable, at least okay, in a short term it might not increase, but if they are also staying stable,
क्या signs दिख
yeah,
रहे हैं कि हाँ the margins can get
yeah,
stable. So then this is can be a beautiful story
yeah,
unfolding.
and
Yeah.
then in that case, the more the stock price fall, the higher the opportunity
Higher
it
the
is.
opportunity. Because यार तो वो हो गया ना कि अभी सिर्फ मार्केट शेयर का
Hmm.
अपने को दिख रहा है बट यार यहाँ तो फिर वो मार्जिन भी अगर बढ़ने लगेगा विथ मार्केट शेयर.
Then it's the
परफेक्ट
investor
कॉम्बिनेशन हो गया.
ability
हाँ.
to
हम्म.
absorb the short term pain in terms of long term gain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
as
think
opposed to.
yeah, over and
Hmm.
all,
So that trade off will always be there in the case of Safari.
Safari.
But for how long, that is something that should be watchful. But I think this Safari also is a good Safari, luggage Safari to have in your watch list at least.
Chaitanya is back
Yeah.
with his jokes,
But I
guys.
think yeah, challenges will also be there in any industry. So new entrants coming in, gaining the
Definitely.
market share and all. But as long as the company stays on its course of gaining market share, I think it should be fine at least
It
in
should
the
be fine.
long term.
So yeah, all
Yeah, I
in all,
think
a good
that's
story. let's
Let's see.
see, do they capture more market share? Are they able to be the leaders? Are they able to stabilize their margins? And what happens to the ramp up of the Jaipur brand? So I think these will be the few things to
Yeah,
watch
these
out
are the
for.
triggers at least in the
Yeah,
short term. So I think that was the whole story of Safari,
Safari.
and I think with that, that's a wrap. I
That's
think.
a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
guys, this is just for educational
yeah.
purposes, no investment advice from our end.
Yep.
So yeah, please consult your financial advisor before investing
Entertainment
in
and
this.
education.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's a wrap. Bye bye. Like, share,
that's
subscribe,
awesome.
comment down, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Yes, bye.